In about a week, we are going to see the Pixel 11s, and while this is not it, it could be looking very similar. This year's Made by Google is going to happen on the 12th of August in New York, and it'll be the first times that we get to see those Pixels officially in all their glory. And up until a few weeks ago, Google was being very un-Google-like, and it kept a lot of those leaks under wraps. But now we know like 95% of everything. Design, specs, pricing, we know a lot here. So let me go through everything that we know about the new Google 11 series, and spoiler ahead. So if you don't want to know anything, then turn off the video now. And also, just to kind of cover my own back here, these are all leaks and rumors. So some of this might not come true, but some of it might. The big question is, if you use the Pixel 10s, should you be excited for the Pixel 11s? And I think that depends on what you're looking for. If you're moving away from an older Pixel, maybe. Last year's, maybe not so much. I'll start with the one point that's going to affect everybody, and Google won't be alone in doing this year, but it is the price. And if you believe those leaks, rumors and reports, then every phone in the Pixel 11 series this year is going to go up by $100. Of course, this is not confirmed yet, but Google have in the past couple of weeks already spoke about rising memory costs, so these leaked prices, they don't seem to be completely out of the blue. That means if you're going to pick up the base Pixel 11, that's going to start at $899, while the XL might go up to $1299. It's very expensive. It looks like we're going to get less RAM as well on the Pixels this year, so from 16 gigs dropping down to 12. A $100 price increase, it doesn't sound great, but it might not be terrible on the base Pixel 11 and regular Pro, because Google is finally meant to be dropping the 128 gig model. Like, it's about time here. So it means that you're not really going to be losing out by paying $100 more, because you're going to be getting the 256 gig version. Where the good news stops is picking up the Pixel 11 Pro XL or the Pixel 11 Pro Fold, because you're not going to be getting a bump in storage, you're not going to be getting anything more here, you're just going to be having to fork out $100 more for both those phones. Let's talk base Pixel 11, and remember when I said that Google had gotten a good hand on those Pixel leaks? Well, we've seen every single colour of the base Pixel 11, and we've seen its specs as well. Those new colours are going to be Midnight Haze, Moss, Fuchsia and Light Sterling, and because we've seen those leaked specs as well, it says that the battery is going to be getting a little bit bigger, so that's going to go to 4,985 milliamp hours on that base Pixel 11. Even by adding a little bit more battery, this should be the lightest phone in the Pixel 11 series, but there is a big rumour doing the rounds at the moment, and it is the fact that Google might remove the 5x telephoto lens. This is definitely not confirmed, and it's one of those leaks where a few sources say it's being removed and a few where it's saying it's going nowhere, and I'm kind of on the side that Google won't do this because it would be a weird move. Like, we only just saw that 5x lens introduced on the base Pixel 10 last year, so I kind of don't buy the fact they're going to remove it on the base Pixel 11 just 12 months later. If you have a look at those leaked marketing materials from Google, you can see that that telephoto lens is still there, so I'm not 100% sure where the rumours have come from that this 5x lens might get removed. It could be the fact that Google might be banking on that 30x super zoom that the base Pixel 11 should be getting to kind of do the enhancing for you with AI and all of its processing, so it could mean that you don't need to have that 5x lens, but I don't think this one is going to happen. I would be shocked if it did, but I mean, these are all leaks and rumours, so Google could still surprise us and remove that lens. I would say nothing too exciting with the base Pixel 11, but there is something that could be coming to all of the Pixel 11s this year, which is quite exciting, and that is something called Pixel Glow. We know this is coming because Google have basically teased it themselves, and you can see inside that slightly new redesigned smaller camera housing, which I like by the way, that coloured circle which is meant to change colour. And the idea of this, as far as I can work out, is that you get a glow of light when you get a notification, so you don't need to be on your phone all the time. I'm interested to see how this looks in person though, like how bright those lights are, and if you can customize those lights as well, because apparently from the reports and the leaks, what you can do is you can change the color of this based on what app is getting you notifications, or what contact is calling you, or maybe like if you're getting an alarm, you might be able to change the colors. I don't know, this is just me speculating, but that would be quite cool to do. The name that we've been talking about is Pixel Glow, and that's been out since the first leak, since we saw it in some code of an Android 17 beta. But it looks like this might not be called Pixel Glow at all, and it'll be called Highlight, which I think is a bit of a rubbish name, to be honest. I don't really get that. As far as we know, Pixel Glow, or Highlight, rubbish name, is going to be coming to all of the Pixel 11 series. So the base Pixel 11, the Pixel 11 Pros, and the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. But yeah, I'm curious to see what this looks like in person, because I like the idea of it, especially from what we've seen Google teasing. But in person, I don't know how this is going to look. While I'm talking about what is new coming to all these Google phones, we're going to see a new modem for Google. And this does not sound too exciting, but Google are moving away from Exynos and switching to MediaTek for the modem in this year's Pixel 11s. The nerd in me is a little bit excited for this one, because what it should do is give your Pixel better signal, better 5G, and also have your phone run cooler when it's actually using 5G. I feel like in turn, this should lead to better battery life when on data, and I am all here for this because the battery is always my biggest complaint when using one of those smaller Pixels. So this might not be the most exciting update in the world, but I think it's one that we're going to notice, and we definitely need this. Right, I'm going to move on to the Pro Pixels now, and you'll have noticed that I haven't really mentioned them at all in this video yet, and that's because it's not the biggest year for these guys. If you were hoping for some big hardware changes, then 2026 is not the year for that. Besides those new 4 colours that we've seen leaked, which are Pine, Midnight, which should get a matte finish, Fog, and June, a lot of what you know about the Pro Pixels from the Pixel 10 Pros are moving across to the Pixel 11 Pros. It looks like it's going to be the exact same cameras. No changes to the sensors, nothing here. The dimensions will basically be the same, so will those displays, and the only change coming to those displays is a slightly higher resolution on the smaller Pro, and both Pros being able to hit a peak brightness of 3600 nits. And honestly, it feels like hardware-wise, the Pixels are having another refinement year, and it is, I suppose, a little bit disappointing, especially when you've seen everyone else innovating. Google here seems to be playing it safe. I was reading these leaks and I saw that the batteries might even be getting smaller. On the smaller Pro, it could be dropping 20 mAh to 4,850 mAh, but it could then be getting the 45 watt charging speeds up from 30. And on that XL, this could drop as well, 85 mAh, which means it'd be 5,150 mAh. Maybe Google is banking on that new modem being better for battery efficiency, and maybe the Tensor G6, because of course, this is going to be on all of those Pixel phones that we see next week. This actually might be a good upgrade, and maybe not in terms of benchmarks. I don't think Tensor's ever going to push that, but of course, we'll need to test it. But the fact is that this new Tensor G6 is being built on TSMC's 2nm process. And as much as people might bash Tensor, what it's done here is actually beaten Apple to the 2nm process on their iPhones coming later this year, and Qualcomm. Like, there's no Snapdragon chips yet running a 2nm process. So Tensor is kind of taking the lead here for now. I just hope that this means that the phones can run a little cooler this year, because the Tensor G5 on the Pixel 10 Pros, it still ran pretty hot, and as long as we can get some better battery life from this chip, I am going to be more than happy. There's only one other Pro phone that I got to talk about now, and that is the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. And I know this is not it, but I mean, if you believe those leaks, then there's not much changing from the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. As a Foldy fan, I'm disappointed here. The big update is that the Fold is going to get slightly more refined, so it's going to be 19 grams lighter from 258 grams to 239. And then from 10.8mm folded to 10.1mm. And then even when it's unfolded, it should be going to 5mm from 5.2mm. But the problem here is that that is so much heavier and thicker than the Fold 8 Ultra. And I don't know, I just don't see how Google are going to compete this year with the Pixel 11 Pro Fold. I feel like they're kind of giving up on this. We're expecting a smaller battery than last year, and it could even have the exact same crease as the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and that is terrible. And I haven't heard or read anything about Google potentially trying to give a fix to that crease. And I just don't see who's going to be picking up a Pixel 11 Pro Fold when the Fold 8 Ultra exists. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a hard sell. And for phones and the updates for them, that is kind of everything. We do expect to see 2 more things though at Made by Google next week, and one of them is going to be a new Pixel Watch. Just like the phones, don't expect a big change here either, because besides them getting slightly thinner and a little bit more battery, it might be very copy and paste from the 4. I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest, because I love the Pixel Watch 4, and Google, they kind of smashed that. If you're going to be disappointed a little bit about the Pixel Watch 5, it could be, if you believe the leaks and the reports, that the chip is staying the exact same as the one that was in the Pixel Watch 2. And there was a lot of talk coming up to the Pixel Watch 5 that we could finally see a Tensor chip being put into the watch. And this was going to be the year Google were going to do it, but it looks like it probably isn't going to be the year we're going to see a Tensor chip in the Pixel Watch 5. The only other upgrade that you might be interested in here is a jump in RAM, so from 2 to 3 gigs. But sometimes I just feel like if it ain't broke, why fix it? And the Pixel Watch 4 was great. And I'm sure it's too late right now if Google have already changed this, but Google, don't you dare change the charging puck on the Pixel Watch 5. We don't need a fourth different charging puck. Like the one that you have right now is perfect, so please keep it. And we might see a new product from Google at Made by Google next week, which is going to be the Pixel Tag. We've seen a couple of leaks about this and even seen a leaked picture of this Pixel Tag in fog light, which is what Google is calling the color. Strange color name, but we have it. This is Google's take on an AirTag. It's a little bit more oval than an AirTag and looks a little bit like one of the trackers that I have on my keys already. It has a G logo on the front of it. It also has a built-in speaker so you can make it ring from your phone when you are trying to search for your keys. We don't know too much about this yet. We don't know whether it supports ultra-wideband, we don't really know the price of this, and we don't know whether it's going to launch at the exact same time as the Pixel phone. So it's something that we need to probably just keep our eye on, but a new product category from Google, I'm excited to see it. And that is a lot of what you could see at Made by Google next week. This is not the most exciting year for hardware upgrades, but I'm sure Google is banking more on Gemini to make these phones feel a little bit more fresh than they actually sound. I will say this at the end of every leaks video, everything that I just said might not even happen, or it could all happen. We have no idea yet because nothing is official from Google and they could still surprise us. But even if they don't, I'm excited for new Pixels. I love a Google Pixel, so I can't wait to get my hands on them, start reviewing them and put them head to head against some other phones. But let me know in the comments what you think of these potential leaks and potential comings to the Pixel phones this year. I'm interested to know. If you can subscribe to the channel before you head off, I would massively appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if you do subscribe, then I will see you in the next one. So see you later.